All right, welcome back again. My name is Brandon Clayton. Excited as we continue to go all in watching the Messiah minister throughout the book of Mark. Today we're picking up in Mark chapter 7, verse 31. A messy blessing is the title for this, a messy blessing. You know, when we think of a blessing, we think of nice things, comfortable things, things that make you feel good. Spiritual maturity, answered prayers. We're coming into this state of like, oh, this is wonderful. But this man in this story didn't get one of those. He got a messy blessing. It's kind of weird and interesting. Why are some blessings messy? What is the Messiah really after? Let's pick up in Mark chapter 7, verse 31. And again, going out from the borders of Tyre and Sidon, he came to the Sea of Galilee, through the midst of the borders of Decapolis. And they brought to him one who was deaf and spoke with difficulty. And they begged him to lay his hand upon him, and taking him away from the crowd, he put his fingers in his ears. And having spit, he touched his tongue. And looking up to heaven, he sighed and said to him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And immediately his ears were opened, and the binding of his tongue was loosed, and he was speaking plainly. And he ordered them that they should say it to no one, but the more he ordered them, the more they published it. And you look at this healing, and praise Yah, he was healed. But man, it was messy. I mean, you got this guy, you got the Messiah putting his fingers in his ear. Sometimes we just read these stories and just think, oh, wow, okay, yeah. Wow. But think about that. It's time for you to be healed. He's sticking his fingers in your ears. That's a very intimate place. People don't stick my fingers in your ears every day. Stick your fingers in your nose. These are intimate places, your orifices here. And he's sticking his fingers in his ears. Now think about this, because he's able, and he's done this. He could heal this man just by looking at him. He could wave his hand over the guy, but he chose to stick his fingers in his ears. He chose to spit on the ground and then touch his tongue. Let me read it again. He put his fingers in his ears, and having spit, he touched his tongue. Having spit, he touched it. It's just all messy. You know, I wonder, would I have stood still? Would you have stood still there and or thought to yourself, I ain't none of that. Can you just give me one of those where you wave your hand? Can you just give me one of those where you just say the word? Can you just give me something that's not what this whole issue is going on? Why I gotta be like this? Why the mess? You know, I'm constantly moved as I'm going through the book of Mark, because at any time, he was healing people just by saying the word. Because of their great faith, he was able. But oftentimes, one of the reasons he will work through a person's faith, he would say, well, because of your faith, it will be done. According to your faith, it will be done. But I really believe that also he was such a personal, loving Messiah that he looked in a person's eyes and he ministered to you according to your ailment, according to your request. And I think that's so amazing. It's so personal and intimate, so loving. You know, in Mark, early in Mark chapter 1, whole crowds were at his door late at night. He could have just said, go away, here. Everybody, y'all, all right, here, go. But he took his time. He was up late. And we hardly can see him doing any one blessing the same way. It's a very personal thing. And that's the point that I want to make here as we look at this messy blessing. It's a very personal thing. As we start to examine this, we start to see a very strong desire for intimacy and connection. I mean, if you've ever seen a sick person, it's not the person you want to touch. It's not the person who you want to start putting your fingers in their ears and spitting and touching their tongue and getting all in their business and stuff. But the Messiah wants to do just that. He wants to get all in your business. He wants to let you look in your eyes and communicate and connect with you. He wants this connection so badly with you. He doesn't want you to feel you're just in the mass of I die for everybody and everybody I'm listening to. But no, 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 you Sarah, you Jacob, you Larry, you whatever your name. He's like, for you, I have something special. And if you don't get anything else from this lesson, I want you to get that point that he has something special for you and how he wants to minister to you in such an intimate, personal, special way. He did it for this man, and he does that every time. So he's after intimacy. How do we see that? Well, we see in the way he was healing this person. With the touching, with the spitting. That's all that's very nasty and intimate. And in verse 33 it says, to create this situation of intimacy, he took him away from the crowd. Look, I'm not trying to boast here. I'm not trying to do a performance. So this is not a circus. I got something to tell you. I want to talk to you. The Father wants to get you away from the crowd. He wants you to pull away, have some quiet time with him. I want to say something to you. You know, I love that Yahweh often speaks to us through the whispers. Old Testament, you'll see this happen. Through whisper, not the storm, not the loudness, not the big crowd, not the big worship at Sunday service or wherever you are, or some concert. And he says, come here. I want to tell you something. Let me do something very personal, let you know I'm thinking about you. You're on my mind. And if you were the only one here, I would still have done it for you. He's looking at you. He said, look at me. Listen to me. Sometimes we're so busy and so caught up in the television, the games, the music, the crowd. We feel more spiritual when we're around everybody. But he's like, I just want to come here to talk to you. And oftentimes I kept seeing him do this. He pulled people away. He's not trying to make a performance or a big proclamation here. He's like, I got something personally for you. So we see this intimacy in him pulling them away. In verse 34, we see him looking up to heaven. He sighed. Looking up to heaven, he sighed and said, Ephphatha. Look, think about this. What does it look like from that man's perspective? Remember, he's deaf. See, he could have talked to him. He's deaf. He wanted to minister to him in a very special way for his issue. So he's coming to him. He's touching him. Yeah, I know how to touch. That's one thing I still got. He's touching him and feeling him and touching his tongue, and then he pulls him. He's pulling him away. He looks up to heaven. See, he can see that. He knows what's going on. Although I can't hear you, I know what's going on. You're looking up. You're doing something for me. And you're calling on the Father. And he says one word, and he can read. Whatever have you said it, then I got what you're saying. Be open. Oh, I love it. He didn't give him a sermon. He didn't talk to him like he did the woman who was bleeding and say, well, who touched me? And all. He didn't have this conversation with the man. He said, no, you're different, aren't you? Everybody else don't understand you, but I got you. I'm here with you, and I'm going to speak to you in a different way. I've never done this with anyone like this before. He only said those simple words so that he can talk with her. That should encourage the mess out of us. No pun intended, encourage the mess, but that should encourage us. The Father, the Son, wants such a personal relationship with you that he's not willing to deal with you just on a corporate level, just at a church service type level, just like the worldly level and say, everybody I love and everybody. No, he's trying to get you pulled away by yourself. He's trying to touch you in a way that only you can understand. Only you can understand. It's just you and him right now. And he's been trying to get your attention for a long time. Saying, it's just me and you. It's just me and you. I'm trying to do something just for you. Don't watch him or her. Don't try to be, I got something special for you. I understand you. And guys, that's a major encouragement to stop and really take that in. He wants to get your attention. You know, in short, it's a love story of him pulling you out and trying to woo you and say, I got you and I love you. Now he's waiting, hoping that after he's written that letter that says, do you love me? Yes or no? That you're going to circle, yes, I'm all in. I love you. thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for wanting to call me out. So I just wanted to give us a quick word of encouragement as we remember that He's a very personal Savior. He's a very personal Father who has a very personal way with you. Thanks guys again for tuning in. I'll see you next time.